In today's video we have this PS4 Pro, which is in a lot of pieces and it suffered some physical damage. The customer just wants the data. We'll just have to try and get the PS4 booting, see if we can recover the data. I have plugged the hard drive into HDTune and it's not showing any bad sectors, but it is showing some spin up errors. But I'm hoping that we can at least get it started enough and just back up enough data that we can get the save games. Now I'm just going to switch over to the microscope. This is the fan connector. The pads have ripped off the board. It's still on the bottom of the fan connector, so I've just had to do a little bit of rework here. Scrape back the pads and soldered some jumper cables here, so I'm going to put this back on and that should give us fan back. The PS4 does boot if I jump the power cable, as you'll see in a second. You can see this is the power cable connector, but the power cable is down, the power button is down here. The problem is that the other half of that power button is in the bag of broken pieces, so we don't have a working power button, but we are able to jump the pins on the connector and the PS4 will start up. So to get the PS4 boot logo, I did it without the hard drive plugged in because I just wanted to make sure it was actually going to turn on before I went any further. First up, we're going to just repair this connector here, get that soldered on, and then we'll go from there. So the ground pads were lifted, so I've soldered a bit of solder there just to sort of hold it in place. I just want to make sure that these pins are lining up well enough. Looks like they will be. I'm just going to try and get the remnants of the PCB traces off the pins there. So let's see if we can just grab those off. So we've just got solder there. Now I'm just going to very carefully solder this back on. I might not have even needed to run those jumper wires because there might have been enough of a pad left, but better to be safe than sorry. But maybe we'll just be able to cut them off. I need some more flux on this. I want to make sure we've got continuity. I'm just going to go from the pins in the connector, the other side of the wire. I'm sure this middle one is a ground. Yeah. Alright, so we've got continuity, so I can probably just actually chop these off here. There's no need to run them back, we don't need them. And we'll just see if I can snap them off. We don't need that little bit of excess. Alright, so that's our fan connector sorted. So even though this hard drive was having spin up errors, it was working enough on the PC that I could read from it. So hopefully the damage isn't too bad and we can at least get the data off. Let's plug in the HDMI and the power. It's just switched over to the Elgato, so I'm just going to try and boot PS4, see if we get an image. We have a blue light coming on. Don't have any fan spinners yet. Can I access system storage? That's not great. Alright, so I've just plugged this into the PC and I managed to get it spinning. So as you can see, the spin retry count is quite bad. Airflow temperature, well, that's fine, it doesn't really matter too much, but this could be an issue when we're trying to recover the data. So what I'm going to do is open up HD clone and we're going to try and clone the PS4 drive to a fresh drive. So the source drive is the Seagate 1 STI 1RK, and the destination drive will be a Western Digital. It's on a J Micron controller, so that's why it's just coming up as J Micron. So we want to basic clone them, so we're going to start this. So I'm just going to leave this to do its thing and we'll come back a little bit later. Alright, so the cloning completed successfully. I've put the new hard drive in the PS4. Let's see what happens when we turn it on. Got a blue light at the moment. Okay, so that error message is a little bit different to the one we had before. Last time it said it could not access the system storage. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we just have to update it. That's good. So I'll have to make a USB so we can update this. Frustratingly enough, I decided to just check that we're getting voltage on the fan connector before I went further, because the PS4 actually shut off while I was copying the update file to a USB stick, and I realized the fan is getting voltage but it's not spinning. A lot of resistance right there. It's quite annoying. We're gonna have to really sort that out before we go any further anyway. Yeah, that fan is just not gonna spin. I can just feel it's got a lot of resistance. So it might be that the chassis is actually bent and pushing against the thing. But I'm gonna have to figure out what is going on there as well. The dramas with this PS4 just continue. There's a screw here that I can't get undone. What's happening is the plastic underneath is actually snapped off from the housing. So when I turn the screw, the plastic is also turning, so the screw is just, indefinitely spinning. I've tried to get some pliers in there just to hold a bit of plastic thread so I can unscrew it, but it's not working. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have to cut this off with a Dremel. So that's what we're going to do now. Okay, there we go. The screw is now gone. This should now lift off. We're going to take the board out, get it out so we can try and access that fan. Okay, so I can see there, that fan is completely bent in. So I'm wondering if we can just bend it out back into shape. It's not hitting the sides bit anymore, so hopefully that might be enough. Put it back in there. It's all back together. Let's turn it on and see if we get anything now. There is kind of no way that this PS4 could really be used again. It's just kind of uneconomical to repair. The chassis is damaged and we need replacing. We're missing the power button that will need replacing. As I was disassembling it, I noticed that the Wi-Fi antennas are broken, or the Bluetooth antenna, I can't exactly remember off the top of my head. That would need replacing. It's actually ripped off from the pads on the board, so that's something again. The issue with the fan, I don't think it's a long-term fix. Eventually it's probably going to re-bend and damage something. The disk drive doesn't spin CDs correctly. It won't read any games. The disk drive needs inspection and repair. Once you do all these repairs, you're looking at basically the cost of replacing the console anyway. And with something like this, you just can't guarantee that it's just going to survive. Looks like we're finally in. Oh, it's booting. So we should be in enough now that we can perform a backup. Given that this PS4 really won't be able to be used again, what I'd be doing is a backup. So we can go into the settings of the console. I've just got to remember where it is. Alright, so we're going to back this up now. It's going to take quite a while. So we'll just sort of leave it to do its thing. Check back when it's done. So we were able to recover the customer's data. At this stage the customer doesn't want the PS4 back, so I might revisit this and see if we can actually get this working again. Maybe if we can find a new chassis somewhere. They are quite difficult to find, so I'll have to see how I go. If you like this video, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe for future content like this. Got some exciting things planned for the future, so stay tuned for those, and we'll see you in the next one.